Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your June 2021 astrology forecast, where we examine the most significant astrological developments of the month and interpret them for your sign. As always, these videos will be most accurate for your rising sign, but you may also use them for your sun and or moon sign if you so desire. All dates and times in this video are Eastern Daylight Time. Adjust your time zone accordingly. In order to properly understand the month of June, we must first examine the end of May, specifically May 29th at 6:34 p.m. when Mercury stationed retrograde. Mercury will be retrograde for the first 3 weeks of June, coloring all other events with the frequent confusion, revisions, miscommunication, and mishaps that are so typical of Mercury retrogrades. This Mercury retrograde is extra interesting in that the entirety of it is contained within Mercury's home sign of Gemini, thereby intensifying the mental and communicative energies. That puts it in your first house of self, so you can expect some kind of review, reconsideration, or revision, as well as potential technical problems and or confusion in the area of you personally, your character, appearance, or physical body. Because Mercury is spending much more time here than usual, there is a particular emphasis on this area of life that will only continue to intensify throughout the month of June. Something else very interesting about this specific Mercury retrograde is that it stations less than 1 degree from a perfect conjunction with Venus. This likely connects the theme of this Mercury retrograde with love, relationships, pleasure, indulgence, creativity, and or relating to others. On June 3rd at 2:59 p.m., we have a powerful trine from the Gemini Sun to Saturn in Aquarius. This indicates a breakthrough in the area of you personally, as well as your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you, involving your ego, sense of self or identity, as well as authority, obstacles, limitation, or reality that ends up affecting your communication, short distance travel, or what is familiar to you, your partner's money, business or issues of life and death, and or your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you. Generally, a Sun-Saturn trine is indicative of events where something is made very real, or a structure, either new or one that has been building for some time, is firmly established. It also has connotations with truth and justice. It is overall a positive, beneficial aspect, but still has the potential to manifest negatively. Complementing this aspect is another very significant trine from Venus to Jupiter occurring the same day. This aspect is almost always highly beneficial, consisting of the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter. It often involves a breakthrough in getting something we desire, expansion of one's love or social life, or just generally pleasant conditions. I believe that with it occurring at the same time as the Sun-Saturn trine, we can infer quite accurately that June 3rd will be a day of positive breakthroughs for many of us. With the moon in Aries applying to a square to Venus at this time, there may be some level of stress and immediacy involved, but it should be well worth the outcome. On June 10th at 6:52 a.m., we have the new moon in Gemini. The new moon represents the beginning of a new month-long cycle, and with this new moon taking place in your first house, you can expect new beginnings involving you personally, your character, appearance, or physical body. Very interestingly, this new moon is also conjunct Mercury, still retrograde. Thus, themes of communication, mental activity, reading, writing, studying, movement, and or commerce are connected with this new moon and the beginnings it symbolizes. Notice in the chart on screen that the new moon is in a wide trine with Saturn, indicating that these new beginnings contain smooth flowing energy into some kind of form or structure, either physical or mental. Additionally, this new moon qualifies as a solar eclipse, part of Saros Series 5 North. Thus, if and only if you have sensitive points in your chart around 19 or 20 degrees of Gemini or Sagittarius, you may experience this as a dreamy, psychic time filled with intuitive hunches, visions, etc. that prove quite beneficial and enriching in the long run. If this applies to you, then this is a time to trust and act on your intuition. On June 23rd at 6:17 a.m., we have the Cancer Sun forming a powerful trine with Jupiter now in Pisces. This indicates a breakthrough in the area of your money, values, or what you have, as well as your career public image, involving your ego, sense of self or identity, as well as expansion of your worldview, growth, knowledge, or belief systems that ends up affecting your communication, short distance travel, or what is familiar to you, your major relationships, and or your career or public image. Generally, a Sun-Jupiter trine is very positive as the radiant energy of the Sun lights up and enlivens the good fortune that Jupiter so often indicates. This is a time of growth and expansion into the new and is, in my opinion, one of the least likely of any aspect to manifest negatively. The fact that Jupiter is right at home in Pisces only amplifies this positive energy. You may also notice in the chart on screen that Mercury has just stationed direct the previous day in an incomplete trine with Saturn. For all the good news we just went over, this is something potentially more worrying, as the symbolism is that of Mercury trying to return to stability but being unable to do so. It indicates breakthroughs that may be positive or negative involving communication, mental activity, movement, or travel, as well as authority, obstacles, limitation, or reality. While in one sense it is good news that Mercury has now stationed direct, in another sense the fact that it never attained the stability of perfecting its trine with Saturn implies some level of instability, especially as it is opposed by the Moon, while at the same time Mars inches ever closer to its opposition with Saturn. In other words, oppositional forces build at this time. On June 24th at 2:39 p.m., we have the full moon in Capricorn. The full moon represents a culmination of events, a time of heightened activity. With this full moon taking place in your 8th house, you can expect a culmination of events in the area of your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death. A full moon in Capricorn emphasizes order, structure, and discipline. It is of what is earthy and practical. There may be major events involving large power structures. The dynamic between the personal and the impersonal is being emphasized. This full moon is also sextile Jupiter, lending supportive, positive, optimistic energy to a day of potentially great stress. June is a month of good times and bad times. There are numerous exciting, positive breakthroughs to celebrate and look forward to, but there is also the great potential for confusion, instability, and opposition throughout the month. As always, these events will hit some of us harder than others, but overall, it is a fairly significant turning point in the unraveling story of 2021. The Mercury retrograde at the end of May sets the potentially confusing tone for the month, and the full moon in Capricorn on the 24th unleashes the grand finale. Tensions do continue to build even after that as Mars marches ever closer to an opposition with Saturn, an event we will be sure to cover in much more detail next month. That concludes your June 2021 astrology forecast. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe if you have not already for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching and supporting my work. Have a magnificent month of June, and I will see you next time.